All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the fourth part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about the wild ending in Washington. The Commanders winning on a Hail Mary. So I wasn't sure. I mean, it didn't seem like early on that leading up to this game, it didn't seem like Jayden Daniels was going to play, but he actually did end up playing. So we did end up getting the matchup between the number 1 overall pick in Caleb Williams and the number 2 overall pick in Jayden Daniels. Now, it was a little disappointing. There wasn't a ton of scoring. The Commanders were up 9-0. It seemed like forever. This was a game that, coming back from Cleveland, my friends and I were watching it on my friend's phone. And, the Bears just, they were not doing anything offensively. They could not get anything going, keeping up with it on, the game cast, of course. And then, like I said, we were watching a little bit of it on my friend's phone coming back from the Browns game. And, yeah, I mean, the first drive, 3 plays, negative 10 yards. You had Caleb Williams lose 6 yards. There was a penalty, a delay of game, then an incompletion to D.J.Moore. They went 3 and out pretty quickly. Then the Commanders, they went 9 plays, 56 yards. Seibert, who's been awesome for them, a 27-yard field goal, so that made it 3-0. Then the Bears punted once again, and the Commanders scored yet another field goal. You had a 61-yard reception by Terry McLaurin, who said recently that he's having the best time of his life right now. And that makes me very happy because he has dealt with so many changes at the quarterback position, and it looks like they might have found their guy. But yeah, so that made it. They were up 6-0. Seibert a 30-yard field goal. More punts. Bears turned it over on downs. They went for it on their own 40, and Caleb Williams connected with D.J.Moore, but it was for no gain. So then the Commanders, they took that and scored more points. A 28-yard field goal by Seibert. So, yeah, it was 9-0 at the half. The Bears punted right before the half. Actually, the Commanders, they got to the Bears' 49, but they just had Eckler run it up the middle, I guess, for 29 yards. But, yeah, it was 9-0 at the half. More punts, then another field goal by the Commanders. So the Bears' defense was doing a good job at keeping this game close. The Bears' defense is very good. It's very good. And, they gave them an opportunity to win this game. It's just at the end, But we'll get to that. So 47-yarder by Seibert. So that made it 12-0. But then the Bears finally get on the board. 56-yard touchdown run by DeAndre Swift. So that made it 12-7. He has been running the ball really well for this team in recent weeks. And that's what's made the Bears a better team. Because early on, they just could not run the football. But Swift has really gotten it going. Then Seibert misses a field goal, a 51-yarder from the Bears' 33. More punts. Then the Bears end up fumbling. Caleb Williams ended up fumbling, but that didn't lead to anything. The Commanders ended up punting. And then the Bears, they went 10 plays, 62 yards down the field. You had 16 yards to Rome Odunze, 22 to Keenan Allen. There was a penalty. There was a defensive pass interference on 4th and 3. So that got them down to the 1. And Roschon Johnson from 1 yard out scored. And the Bears even got the 2-point conversion. Caleb Williams connected with Cole Kmet. And this was with 25 seconds left. So you thought, okay, the game's probably over, right? No. The Commanders then get all the way up to their own 48. Now, what I noticed was, the Bears were not guarding the sidelines, and I'm pretty sure you saw Caleb Williams, even shouting at his teammates, like, "Hey guys, guard the side so they don't get out of bounds," and they were able to do that. And then Jayden Daniels, he heaves up a 52-yard pass. He's scrambling around for a little bit. Finally has time, and then he just throws it up. And what ends up happening is you got the whole pile of people right there, players right there, group of players right there. They bat it up in the air. Noah Brown actually moves back, and the ball gets deflected up. He's the only guy there, and he picks it off. He catches it for the game-winning touchdown, and the Commanders win and improve to 6-2 on the season. I had them at 4 wins. So that's a team that I was not, and I did say I was a little nervous because I was like, there are a lot of people that are high on the Commanders, and I just kept saying, well, I just don't think their defense is very good. But they're 6-2 right now, and they're on top of the division of the NFC East. So props to them, but that is a tough loss for the Bears. I mean, they were looking at 5-2, and now they're 4-3. They're 5-2. I mean, you're tied with the Vikings, and you're only a half a game behind the Packers. You know, you're 1 game behind the Lions. So that was just a really tough loss there for them. But you know, it happens. I mean, it's not the first Hail Mary we've seen before. You know, a guy that used to play in this division, the NFC North, he used to be the king at Hail Marys, and he did one this year too. However, his new team is just not doing good right now. And I'll just leave it at that. But to look at the stats for the game, the Bears ran the ball for almost 200 yards. They had 196 yards rushing. They had 2 touchdowns, one by Roschon Johnson. DeAndre Swift, 18 carries for 129 yards and a touchdown. However, what was disappointing is Caleb Williams did not have a good game. Was sacked a couple times, only had 10 completions. He went 10 of 24 for 131 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. You know, you got to be better. Rome Odunze was their leading receiver. He had 3 receptions for 41 yards. Keenan Allen had 2 for 39. D.J.Moore 2 for 27. Cole Kmet 1 for 14. Bears defense only had 2 sacks. But yeah, I mean, you know, the Commanders are a good team. You know, and even with Caleb Williams only completing 10 passes, they still had a chance to win. They should have won. There was actually a video that I saw. So one of the Bears defensive backs, I guess, was just like taunting the fans while the play was going on. Like, what was going on there? The game's not over yet. And, you know, I mean, this play just ends up happening. I mean, you even see it on the graphic here. I mean, Noah Brown is right there, gets deflected up in the air, and he catches it. You know, that's just such a tough way to lose a game. You know, because you're 5-2, but now you're 4-3. And well, we'll get into the remaining games for the Bears in a second. So Jayden Daniels, he went 21 of 38, 326 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and of course the touchdown came on the Hail Mary. 65 yards on the ground by Brian Robinson, 52 on the ground by Jayden Daniels, 52 on the ground by Eckler. Terry McLaurin had a good game, 5 receptions for 125 yards. Zach Ertz, 7 for 77, was targeted 11 times. Noah Brown, 3 for 73 and a touchdown. That was, of course, the Hail Mary. The Commanders' defense, 2 sacks in the game. But yeah, Commanders, they moved to 6-2. They take on the Giants at MetLife. And the Giants will have a kicker in this game, so we'll see if it goes any different. Then they have the Steelers, the Eagles, the Cowboys. I'm curious to see how these matchups go against the Eagles and the Cowboys. I want to see how the Commanders do against them. I mean, the Cowboys are not looking good. The Eagles are starting to play better. So, you know, they've looked good the last couple weeks. So I'm curious to see how that game will go. That's in Week 11. That's on November 14th. That's going to be a Thursday night game. But yeah, you got the Titans in there, the Saints, Eagles, Falcons, Cowboys. You know, you got a lot of divisional games. You got the Steelers, you got the Falcons mixed in there as well. So there are some tough games coming up, but right now the Commanders are in a very good spot. They're a half game up on the Eagles, 2.5 games up on the Cowboys, and then of course they're playing the Giants. They're 4 games up on them. But they're in a good spot, and look, as long as Jayden Daniels could stay healthy, they'll be all right. I wonder what would have happened if Mariota would have played. I mean, I guess we'll never know. But they do. I mean, this is a big win for them. So, you know, they got the Eagles right behind them, and they'll be seeing them very soon. And then for the Bears, you know, you're 4-3 now. You got the Cardinals, who are coming off of a big win against the Dolphins, and you got the Patriots. But then, From week 11 on, that schedule is going to get very tough. Very tough. You got everybody in your division twice. You got the Niners and the Seahawks. It's going to be very tough. So, and Caleb Williams has played better. Was not great on Sunday. But, just got to get back to work. They've continued to run the football effectively. They have a good defense. So, there's a lot of tough games here. And I don't know why the NFL decided to load up on divisional games at the end of the year, but that's what they decided to do. But it's, I just don't get it. That is such a tough schedule at the end of the year. So, got to win your next two. Got to win. But this game was like stolen from them. They should have won this. So right now they should be 5-2, and then you play the Cardinals, which Cardinals are such a weird team. You can't really figure them out. They beat the Niners, then they beat the Chargers. Actually, they've won 3 of their last 4 games. So they are playing better. That's going to be a tough game though. So we'll see how that goes. That's one of the late window games. But, yeah. The Bears got a good defense, though. So that, they got to make sure they hold down Kyler Murray in that offense. But let me know what you guys think, though, about this game. What were your takeaways from it? Let me know in the comments. We're going to take our final break of the show. And then when we come back, we will discuss my power rankings for this week, my top 5 teams after week 8, and that will put a cap on today's show. So for one final time today, make sure to stick around for my power rankings, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.